Welcome back to Internet Girlz.
Hi.
We're your hosts, Torri and Hannah.
Hello. We hope you are having a fabulous day. It is beautiful here in California.
Sunny California.
We are in NorCal.
Yeah, Tori is visiting. She low-key was coming out here to visit to go to House of Prime Rib, which is like a very famous San Francisco institution. But girlfriend missed the reservation.
Yeah, I was so sad about it. I cannot believe that happened to me. Okay, so I was in Santa Barbara and I was flying to, oh my gosh,
Oakland.
Bay
Area.
Well, yeah, I almost said San Francisco because
you were flying to San Francisco.
I was flying into San Francisco because that's where the restaurant is. And originally I was going to take the train in, but the train was like 9 hours. And I was like, why would I do that when I could just fly for an hour?
Yeah.
No, except for whenever your plane gets delayed like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's an hour flight, guys.
You guys, I was like pacing around my house, like texting Tori, like being like, is it delayed? Are you going to make it? Are you going to make it? Like trying to figure this out. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was so sad. So I completely missed like the entire experience.
The whole experience. But you know what? It's fine. We're here. Yeah. We're happy to be together.
Yeah. And I did make the best of it, I will say, though, because there is a restaurant in San Francisco that I've been dying to try. It's called Foreign Cinema. It's like they play old movies and the food
it's a delight.
Is incredible. It's one of the best restaurants in town. And it's very hard to get a reservation there, but it was a Monday night and I was one person and I got in and I did get to eat there. So the night wasn't completely ruined for me, although it was like a fraction of the fun I could have had, you know, with you guys.
Yeah, you should have seen me at dinner though, like drooling over my prime rib, feeling so guilty. And I was like, oh my God, she's probably so sad right now. And then you told me you were going to Foreign Cinema. And I was like, oh, I don't have to feel guilty anymore. Tori's like off having a great time.
I know. I should have told you that earlier.
So we all had a good time, even though we weren't together, but
yeah.
Made the most of it.
We did make the most of it. But this episode, we actually wanted to teach you guys a little something because Hannah and I get questions about this all the time, constantly. And it is, so you want to be an influencer?
How to be an influencer 101.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, we both have kind of a good handle on things. And before, you know, we could give tips and things like that would be helpful as well. But now, I don't know, I feel like we've lived it, breathed it, and
we're making bank now. Like we both do this full time.
Yeah, like
so
we could live a full life, you know?
What?
We could live a full life.
We are living. Oh. Bestie, we are living a full life.
And we do. We could and we do.
Yeah, we don't need our husband's money. We have our own influencer money.
That's right.
So, yeah, we get questions all the time about how we do this. How do we make money? How do we grow our socials? How are we successful? And today we're going to spill it all and tell you all our secrets.
Yes. So, whenever I started, actually, when both of us started, it was like back in the day of the beautiful photo shoot, Instagram aesthetic days.
Creative Instagram, colorful, self-portrait era.
Yeah, like I was talking to our friend Katie about this today, and I was like, it is actually mind-blowing to think about the fact that all the girls on Instagram were just creating these like elaborate shoots and taking these like crazy intricate photo shoots all day.
I know, we would spend so much money and then so much time to like get the perfect shot and then get like, it was pretty good back then with the engagement. We get like 500 likes on that shit. It was nice, but you know what? Those days are dead.
Yeah.
And videos are alive.
Yeah. So that is not the case anymore. That is not what you do.
No, do not spend your time on that anymore. Although it is fun. And I think it's a great place to start because like being creative comes in all shapes and forms and sizes. And it's fun to just like pull out the tripod, pull out the camera, glue little stickers to your face, do some crazy makeup and like have a cool portrait of yourself.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, back then, I feel like it was more about creating like a really cool photo that would get people talking and like sharing. But now I feel like it's more about niching. And it's not even necessarily like you have to niche down and only stick to this one thing, but it's about like more so being very specific of who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what are things about you that are so you.
Unique.
Yeah, and that you, if even if you wanted to change them, like you
Mhm.
couldn't, like because it's just who you are. Like
And in my opinion, that's when the real money comes in because there are so many hundreds of thousands of like millions of companies out there that specialize in such minute details and they're so niche down already. So let's say you like let's use Tori for instance. You're a PCOS creator. You do fashion, you do lifestyle, you do other stuff, but like to your core, you share so much about PCOS. So obviously companies that service PCOS clients want to work with you because
mhm,
it's not easy to find creators online who are doing well and being successful and also have this like super niche topic that they talk about a lot.
mhm.
And so Tori's automatically going to get like way more money because it's just harder to find people like that.
Yeah, and that is something that is so me that again, even if I wanted to change that about myself, I can't because it's something about me. And you could apply that if you're thinking about yourself and you're thinking about doing this, think inward about you. Like I have a friend who was talking to me about wanting to do this and I was giving her this exact same advice. And she was like, "Yeah, okay, well I have two kids, but they're boys, so I could talk about being a boy mom specifically." And I'm like, exactly.
Mhm.
So you just really have to look inward at yourself. And it comes with like kind of knowing yourself.
Which I think takes time.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. I've been doing this 5 years. Tori, you've been doing this, what, 3 years full time?
Yeah, well, I started 2015, so
Oh, so long time, 9 years.
yeah.
It just, like, takes time to figure out, like, who you are, what you wanna share. So, like, I think when you're starting out, share everything. See what does well, see what people respond to. Maybe you share a TikTok video about your, like, random disease you have,
Mhm.
and you get, like your video blows up, and suddenly, like, that's your niche, that's your community. Like, find what works for you and what you're passionate about, and, like, keep building on that.
Yeah, and you don't like I have made it like because even though I talk about PCOS a lot, and Hannah talks about PCOS too, but it is also not the only kind of content I create, and I've been very intentional about that because I definitely probably could have just done PCOS content and could have grown like a F ton of followers, and I probably could have like just exploded from there. But here's the thing is I don't want to just create that kind of content because I am so much more than just that one thing about me.
Mm.
Just like same thing about you guys. Yes, you can use your niches to kind of like define yourself in a way of like reaching out to brands in a way to attract people to you with like-minded things as well, but you are multifaceted. You don't have to like pigeonhole yourself there as well. You can always explore your interest as well, even though I will definitely always lean into my PCOS and talk about it, I will never just create PCOS content. So that goes for you as well, you know?
Yeah, so that is something I like to call content pillars. And I do a little bit of coaching as well as just like influencer work. And I wouldn't consider myself a coach, but I just like to tell people what I know from this time in the industry. And content pillars are like the best way you can do this. So if you are getting started and you're like, well, there's so much about me I want to share, pick like your top three. So I'll use Tori again, for example. Tori's like fashion, PCOS, and travel. And those are like your big top three.
Mhm.
And then try to fit all of your videos, all of your photos, whatever, into those categories. But then also use an Instagram story as a way to share more of your life so that people get to know you. So, like, okay, maybe I'm doing this cool road trip and it doesn't really fit into my niche. People want to know you. They want to know who you are. They want to see your wacky lifestyle and like just get to know you. So like post that shit on your Instagram story, but
Mhm.
then keep like your Instagram feed and your TikTok to your content pillars.
Yeah. I also think if you have like a story arc too that you can
Mm,
get people invested in, that is like golden. Like that is the golden ticket. If you can get people invested into some sort of story that they can see all the way through. Like some sort of journey. Take people on a journey. And especially if it can fall within one of your content pillar niches, and especially just like Hannah was saying, like weaving it in and out of the other pillars that you have, you were
Literally.
golden.
Torri is like the queen of storytelling. So I'm going to tell you guys a story
You
real quick.
think?
No, literally. So
That surprised
Torri and
me.
I first met in real life when I took her as my plus one on the Virgin Cruise last summer. And that was super fun. But like one thing that was really cool is I was doing really well on Instagram. Torri was doing really well on TikTok. So we kind of like exchanged tips. And one of the tips that Torri told me was in like my vlogs or my like day in the life videos or whatever. She was like, people want to see everything. They don't just want to see you eating the food. They want to see you walking into the restaurant. They want to see you getting seated at your table. They want to see you order your drink. Like take them on a journey and show them this whole process. And when I started implementing your tips, like my content did so much better. It was amazing. Like
Really?
you're literally the queen of storytelling.
Oh, thank you. You give me way too much credit. But yeah, it's like people want to see, they don't just want to see like a snippet of this or that. They want to see like from start to finish. They want to like, Finny.
Finny.
They want to like go on the whole journey with you.
Yeah, people are snoopy.
They are.
They're
Me
like,
too. I'm nosy.
I'm so nosy. I'm like, how much did that cost?
Me too.
Which neighborhood is that? Like, tell me everything.
No, whenever I see someone post a restaurant clip and they're sitting there eating, I'm like, what does the restaurant look like?
I know. What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Who are you with?
What does
What
the
drink do you have?
bathroom of the restaurant
Exactly.
look
Like,
like?
tell me everything.
What's the lobby look like? How many people were there? Was
How
it a
hard
packed
is it to get a
restaurant?
reservation?
Yeah, like
Tell me. These are the details that do not seem important to you at the time, but are so important to that storytelling vision. Mm.
Also, even whenever you're doing like your vlogs and things like that, which are really good for getting people like invested in your life, if you could don't feel like this is something I had to get myself out of the habit of doing because it's so easy to
Why
do.
do I know exactly what you're gonna
Yeah,
say?
yeah. Is being like, and then we went to the restaurant, and then we ate this food, and then we went to the bathroom, and then you cannot do that. It's like people have eyes and they can see. Lots of times I talk about something totally different than that's going on in the video, and I just weave it back into what we're doing. Like, after I'm done with whatever thought.
Yeah, like give them something to watch, and that's a story. And then talk about the interesting things that were happening. So tell a story about how your waiter called you by a celebrity's name and thought you were like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me. No,
Oh.
it did not happen to me.
I was like,
yeah, they all think I'm Taylor Swift. No, but like tell those interesting stories. Like that's what people want to know. They can see the whole thing in your vlog, but like tell them something behind the scenes. So you're like, ooh, if you listen to my voiceover, you're gonna get like the backstory, you know?
Yeah. So I think honestly that is a really great starting point. And those are all things that I wish someone would have told me, and I had to learn out the hard way. And please do not scroll back on my content because it is awful. Awful.
Yeah. Same. Please don't.
Yeah, it's awful because I had to learn that the hard way. There were so many like vlogs of mine that are like the complete opposite of what I just told you, and they performed awfully because I learned this from like trial and error and figuring it out along the way. Other than that, I feel like we should spill a little bit of tea on working with brands.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah, y'all want to know what's funny is last night we were so delirious by the time I got in. Hannah and I shook hands. And it was like in the middle. It wasn't even like I got here and shook her hand. It was like she was giving me a tour of the house.
We were like going to bed.
We're going to bed.
Good night.
I think we hugged and then shook.
That was so awkward. We're such awkward little beans. Oh my god.
That's so funny. But
brands.
working with
brands. So, okay. This isn't tea, but just another tip. Become the brand's best friend. That's how you're going to get paid. Because, like, think about it from the brand's point of view, okay? You're looking for an influencer. First off, hard to find influencers. I have worked on the other side. It is not an easy task. And then second, a lot of influencers are so difficult to work with. Like I had an influencer once, we were trying to pay her and she was like, "How do I create an invoice?" And I was like, "Miss Ma'am, Google exists. Okay? You're going to have to go look that up and be self-sufficient." So like just be a nice person. Give
Yeah.
them a little more than they need.
Mhm. Also, I mean, I wouldn't even start reaching I would start reaching out to brands maybe when you had like 1,000 followers,
Yeah.
and maybe at that time, like, just do giftings. I mean, obviously, if you can get some
You got to
money,
start somewhere.
yeah, get some money if they offer you some money, but I doubt anyone's offering dollar bills at that point. Just do as much like giftings and honing your own content as you can at that point, and reach out to all the brands that you can and all the brands that you organically use.
Yeah, especially for giftings. Like people are always so scared to reach out to brands and ask for free stuff, but it's like you're doing them a service. You're giving them something in exchange. It may not be money, but like creating any sort of content for the brand is so beneficial. So like even if you have 500 followers, 1,000 followers, like just reach out. You'll be surprised how many times they say yes.
Mhm. I to this day am always I'm like, "Me? You wanna work with
I
me?
know. You want to pay me
Thank you."
for what?
Oh my gosh, thank you. So I think that that is super important, and what Hannah was saying about becoming their best friend, like, go like their stuff, go comment on their
Like
stuff.
be a fun human.
Yeah. Even in their your interactions on email, like, make sure that you're super nice and friendly and accommodating,
And
and
responsive and you're giving them what they ask for. I had a brand today. I delivered my content last week. They told me that in the last 3 months, I have been the only influencer who has followed their instructions and that they haven't asked to reshoot. The only person in 3 months.
that's crazy.
Like that's insane.
That's wild. Yeah, also just like forming those relationships like that is so important. Like for me, Hannah and I were talking about this earlier today. I have like a handful of brands that I work with regularly, and that is a big reason why I make the dollar bills that I make is because I've formed those relationships and I have such strong relationships that I just like repeat customers, you know?
Yeah, because once you start getting those long-term brand deals, those 3-month, 6-month, even a year-long brand deals, like that's money coming in every month that you don't have to worry about. Like that's basically putting you on a salary. It feels
Mhm.
good.
Mhm, mhm.
So what tea do you have to share?
About the brands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna get sued or anything. You gotta be careful, I'll just say this. You have to be careful what brands you work with because Hannah and I have found out that a brand, you can do all the work for them, and then they can just not pay you because they're going through financial troubles. So, I would make sure that you're working with a reputable brand.
Yeah, like this is what we learned is if you have a contract in place, it's great, but they can still just not pay you, and the only recourse you have is to sue them. So
So
just be careful.
just be careful and make sure if you're working with a brand that money is involved, especially if it's like a lot of money. A lesson in business that I learned is I will definitely be taking like a high paying contract over to a lawyer to look at. I think that it's worth it if it's a substantial amount of money. And I think that was a lesson in business for me.
Yeah, we really went through it with this brand. We unfortunately can't name them. We would love to, but we don't want to get sued. But they owe us both a lot of money and they're basically just terrible people. And so we
Yeah.
really did learn. It's sad because I've worked with probably hundreds of brands and I've basically never had a bad experience. I've
Mhm.
always gotten paid on time or like a smidge late. It's been great. And then this brand just flat out refused to pay us after we delivered the work. So, and I think what we learned as well, like we both come from a corporate background. And for me, at least, I will have to do a whole episode on this, but I had a lot of trauma from my corporate experience. And I think this taught me that there's trauma in every workplace, even if you're doing a job like this, that everyone just thinks it's so fun. Like that was one of the most traumatic things ever.
Yeah. Awful. But
Anyway, we're
moving
moving on
on.
from that. Karma is my boyfriend. It
Exactly.
will come for those people
Yeah.
that screw us over.
Yeah, in the great words of Taylor Swift.
Our
Um,
Lord and Savior, Taylor Swift.
yes. Thank you. Um, anyways, another thing about working as an influencer is there might be slow months and you might have really, really awesome months. It's like a freelance kind of deal. So it's if you're thinking about doing this as a career and really doing it, just be mindful of that. And it's something that does not happen overnight. So you really have to want it and you really have to put the time in. Unless you're just one of those lucky ones that just overnight
Yeah,
success.
the Charlie D'Amelios of the world
Yeah, can't relate, but
cannot relate.
good for them.
We put in the work. It's a really fun job and it has so many perks, but
Mhm.
it's a hard job. I mean, you're chronically online. You have to set really serious boundaries for yourself and like know when it's time to like put the phone down, stop scrolling, like stop checking your email because that can really like burn you out quickly in this world where you just have to be creative and that's your job.
I'm so bad at my phone. Like, I think I'm on my phone like 12 hours a
Oh
day
yeah, same.
on
It's
average.
hard. Like, whenever I put the phone down, I'm like, "Am I missing something? Did someone write
Yeah.
me? Did a brand write me?" Like, and it's so silly because logically, I'm like, they can wait an hour, you
Yeah.
know? But
But I'm
in
like,
my I
no.
know subconsciously, I'm like, I have to be on.
Also, you feel like if you miss an email, like, oh my gosh, like you feel like you need to respond to them right away because like someone else is going to get that like opportunity
Right.
if you don't respond.
The money's sitting on the table and you gotta be there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard, and taking vacations is honestly the hardest part, I think, of being an influencer because when you're on vacation and, like, let's say we're both fashion girlies, all you wanna do is, like, shoot content, make videos, like,
Post your
be
outfit,
cute, but, like, it's vacation too, so, like, you do wanna take a little break from your job, you know?
but you can't.
But you can't but you can, and you should, like you should have certain trips that are for content, you should have certain trips that are just for you because otherwise, again,
Yeah,
you will burn out.
I know. I need to be better about that personally because like especially with my content and like moving and like tripping all the time, like we go on one
Tripping all the time.
trip, not the good kind of trip. Well, there are good kinds of trips, but y'all know. A regular degular trip.
Yes,
Um
a non-hallucinogenic trip.
yeah. we it like I'm always like documenting and sharing all of that. And I don't think I've done a trip where I haven't done that in years.
Yeah, because you're so hardcore about it, which I
Mhm.
respect. Like, traveling with Tori is amazing because she gets footage of everything.
Yeah.
And so it was so nice for me going on trips with her because I'm not the best vlogger. I don't remember to take pictures of my food. I like, I just live. And Tori's over here with all the content. And I'm like, thank the Lord she's here because otherwise I would have nothing to share right now.
I don't even think about it. It's just like automatic. Like,
To be you.
yeah, I probably shouldn't be that on it. I'm like, yeah, it just comes from another like little bit of fear of like, oh, I need to do this, or because it's such a competitive and saturated market, but that does not mean that there's not room for you. I feel like there's room for anyone who wants to do it. And the thing is yeah, there's a lot of influencers, but there's no one like you. And
Exactly.
you
In
have
your
to
niche with your voice and your stories, and you just got to start. That's the thing. You just got to jump in and just start. And even if you're starting from a place where you know absolutely nothing, like you will learn it all along the way. We didn't know anything when we started.
Mhm.
I knew nothing.
No, me neither. And also another thing that's kind of hard about being an influencer is we were talking about this today too. Whenever you talk to your friends about it, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I just did this and it got like no likes." They are going to roll your eyes at you even if they love you so much unless they know what it's like to have like money on the line for these kinds of things, they just don't understand and they're gonna think that, oh my God, that's so stupid. You're upset about likes. Like,
Right.
Like,
Because for us, it's about money.
yeah.
It's not about just like, do people like my content? Like, I mean, that's part of it too,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's mostly about money.
Yeah, well, because it's like a brand deal that you're upset about. Like, oh
Mhm.
shoot, like this brand just paid me this money and it only performed this well. And people in your life who don't necessarily understand that think that, oh my gosh, you're upset about not that many people liked your photo or whatever. And like
I
it's
just don't get it.
yes, so it can be kind of like isolating in that way unless you have other creator friends because they're just not going to understand.
Yeah, but the amount of friends you'll make in this industry is amazing.
And they're the best.
Yeah, like Tori and I are like BFFs,
Besties.
and we met on Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's
so cool.
crazy.
We never would have been brought together if it weren't for the internet.
I know. How long ago was that too? Like
Years,
I
so
don't
many
even
years.
remember like our
No,
first
me neither. We should
internet.
scroll up. We
We
should see if our
should.
first message is still there. That would be a lot
I
to
know.
scroll through.
I know.
We talk a lot.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh,
Uh, but it's a really, really great life, and I'm not complaining. It's like I would not want to do anything else, and I'm so appreciative and love what I get to do.
wait, okay. If you did have to do something else, like if this totally went away and you could choose any other career, what would you do?
Like photography, I guess.
Like weddings? Or
Uh,
just like,
used to shoot weddings. Like when I first started Instagram, I started doing like some weddings and things like that on the side, and they're really hard.
really hard?
Like, I would rather shoot anything other than a wedding because it's so much pressure and there's
Mm.
so much you have to get. And after every wedding I shot, I think I shot 3 weddings. I was nauseous from looking through the
Oh,
camera
yeah.
lens. I didn't even
It's
know.
exhausting, and you don't sit down.
Yeah.
I've shot a couple events, and you just, like, go. They were, like, 5 hours, and I was like, "Okay, I haven't
Trying.
drank. I haven't drank the water. I haven't had water. I haven't sat down. I haven't eaten anything. Like, I haven't breathed. It's a lot of work."
Well, maybe it wouldn't be photography.
Yeah, I'm like, "Wait, that actually sounds horrible."
But I like the, like, creative shoots and, like, making stuff like that way. I don't know. What about
Mhm.
you?
Probably marine biologist.
Whale girl.
'Cause I'm a whale girl. I'm one of those millennials that always wanted to be a marine biologist because I just love whales. So, I was, like, 8 years old being like, "I'm gonna be a marine biologist," and everyone was like, "You know you have to, like, study science, right?" And I was like, "Ugh, no, you don't. You study whales."
No,
Duh.
Hannah said people would be like, "Oh, whales are kind of killer whales are kind of mean. Like that's why they call them killer whales." And she'd be like, "Ugh, "You just don't understand. Like, have you seen Free Willy? Like,
Have you seen
what is wrong with you?"
Free Willy is an angel. He's not killing nobody.
Oh my god.
Oh, whale girl. I was sending you whale TikToks last night. I don't know if you
I
saw
haven't seen
any.
them yet. I haven't even like clicked on it.
I'm like on whale talk now. It's such a happy place. Everyone's all the
There are
same.
people. No, there's a now. Anytime someone tells me that they're into whales, all I can think of is you, Hannah.
Amazing. That's what I want to be known for,
Yeah.
being a whale girl.
No, I was or I had to get blood taken the other day, and the phlebotomist was like, "Yeah, I'm super into whales, always have been."
Amazing.
And I was like, "Another whale girl."
Whale girls unite.
But which kind of whales? Like the
Orca.
orcas in particular?
Yeah, and we don't call them killer whales. They're orcas.
Oh,
And they're beautiful. Also dolphins.
mhm.
Not a whale, but the
Same concept.
smartest. I would marry a dolphin. We're getting really off topic here. Because dolphins are really smart. Did you guys hear about that person who like fell in love with a dolphin?
No, yeah, I did hear about
There's like
that.
a whole documentary about it.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky though, that part.
That's a little freaky, but like I love dolphins.
Because like the dolphin would pleasure itself on the
Yeah, that's a little too far. That is too
But
far.
you know what I think is so cool is how dolphins can tell when people are pregnant.
They can.
Yeah.
Apparently dogs can too.
Really?
Yeah, like people say that dogs start acting so weird when you get pregnant. I'm hoping
Really?
mine do that. They're they're kind of dumb. Our dogs are or my dogs are here just like staring off into space. I don't think they would realize anything.
That's so funny. No, there's actually like centers in Hawaii where you could like give birth like in the ocean and the dolphins would like surround you or something. Like
What?
they start going like in circles around you. Anyways, back to being an influencer.
What more is there to say?
I mean, as far as like working with brands, you should pretty much do that on your own as much as you can until you can't stand it anymore and you feel overwhelmed and you need to like get a manager because you want to keep all your dollars that you can for as long as you can until you think it's worth it to give some away to hand for them to handle some of the like emails and back and forth. Also, I have gone the route of foregoing a manager and hiring a I would pretty much call her like
A Monique.
a social media
She's a
manager.
Monique.
Yeah, yeah. And she handles like all of my emails. She does a little bit of editing for me. Like she does a little bit of everything. And I think that that is better because I get a little bit of everything rather than paying like a for sure chunk out of my deals, you know? But there are some slow months, so you got to take that into account.
Yeah, I have a manager. I pay her 20% of every deal. It's so worth it to me because I don't have to be on my emails all the time. Like she handles all the emails, all the negotiations, reading my contracts, pitching me to brands, coming up with like fun new opportunities. And then if I get rejections, I don't have to see it, which is great for me because I'm so sensitive. So every time I get rejected from a brand, which happens super often, like way too often. I take it a little personally. So I like that she can just manage all that for me.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Monique my social media manager handles all of that for me as well, but I pay her a flat fee, which every week, which is great. But like I said, those slow months is you're like, oh shoot.
Mm,
But it also doesn't increase based on how much money I make. So,
yeah, that is nice. Because
mhm,
if you made like 50 grand in a month or
yeah,
whatever, you'd have to pay 20% of that.
yeah.
But since you have a flat fee, you don't have to. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Although if I do have a really good month, I do like to throw her like and she's done a lot for me, an extra like little bit here or there, you know.
Shout out to Monique who's editing this.
Yeah. She's the best.
She's the best. Anyway, I highly encourage you guys to start. If it's something you've been thinking about, if you think it could be a good fit for your personality, like just start posting, have fun with it. Be your authentic self, make friends, be chronically online like us. It'll be a
Mhm.
good time.
Take your phone on every vacation.
And never put it down.
Shove it in everyone's face.
And put your little ring light up and
It's a great life. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's the best. It is.
it is the best.
I'm very grateful.
So if you guys have any other questions for us about being an influencer, getting started, making money, let us know. Slide into our DMs. We are always here to help.
Yeah, totally. I never like mind answering any specific questions, but also guys, don't come at me with like what should I do? Like come at me with a specific question in mind and I will be more than happy to answer it, but I can't tell you how to start. You just have to start.
Yeah, 100%. But we believe in you. You're
You,
amazing.
you got this.
You got this.
You're going to be an amazing influencer.
You're a bad bitch.
You're going to be even way more successful than us. You're going to blow up. You got this.
You got this, baby girl.
We will see you on the gram or the TikTok, okay?
Yes. Internet Girlz out.
Out.